We are very lucky today, ladies and gentlemen, and we have a young man named Cory and his family here to present to us today. Some of you are going to be moving into health and wellness classes or into part of the curriculum for your health and wellness class that will cover part of the DA's opiate prevention initiative. Ms. April Cabrera is going to speak to you in a few moments about that and about what that program does. As part of this whole curriculum, we do have a young man named Cory who was impacted by opiates here today. He and his family will be speaking to you. During this time, I ask that you give your full attention and the respect that this young man and his family deserve. At the end of the session, there will be some time for questions and answers, so I do ask that you just hold any questions that you may have until the end. Okay, so I'm going to introduce Ms. April Cabrera from the District Attorney's Office.
Good morning, everyone. You guys have slightly more energy than the last group, so it's probably getting close to lunchtime, I'm sure. So anyway, the District Attorney, Tom Quinn, is thrilled to be able to provide this presentation as well as the other opiate initiatives we've been doing here. I know so far we've met with some of the freshman health classes and we've had some really lively discussion about the opiate epidemic and about the way it affects your decision making and different things like that. So I do look forward to seeing some of you juniors and seniors and I think juniors and seniors is what I'll be seeing next, probably in 2017. But today, we're happy to have our friends Dave and Lori and Cory, who we'll meet a little bit later, here to talk to you specifically about how this opiate epidemic affected their family. So I do ask that you guys, put your good listening ears on. Definitely be ready to ask questions at the end because there are prizes to be had if you do ask the question. So it might be worth your while, but I'm sure you guys will get a lot out of this presentation and do, really pay good attention because there's some information in here that you really need to know. So I'm going to stop talking now and I'm going to turn it over to Dave and Lori.
Good morning, Bengals. Good morning. My name is Dave and this is my wife, Lori. And in a little while, you'll meet our son, Cory, whom this assembly is about, as well as the fact of our whole journey that went on. I'm sure if I asked right now for a show of hands, which I'm not, but if I asked for a show of hands, I'm sure a lot of hands would go up if I asked you if you knew of anyone that was struggling with drug addiction. I'm sure a lot of you do. It is now an epidemic in this country, and it's been going on for quite some time. Cory's journey actually began almost 10 years ago. Cory was a student athlete. He was a great student. He went to Taunton High School. We live in Taunton. And when he was there at Taunton High School, he played baseball and he played football. We're going to show you a video about him in a few minutes. You can see him on the baseball and football team from years ago. You'll see him walk across that stage in June of 2006 when he graduated from Taunton High School. Perfectly normal student athlete, normal kid, great kid and everything, had his life on track. His mother and I had given the drug talk to him many times, stay away from drugs, they're bad for you, they can kill you, and so on. He knew all those things, but how did drugs still happen to creep into our lives? The answer was not because he was out there partying with all his friends and he was trying some things or whatever it was. It actually happened quite innocently. He, as I said, was a student athlete. Baseball was his favorite sport. He was a pitcher. And what happened is he had a sports injury. He had a torn labrum in his right arm, his throwing arm in baseball. And in the summer between his junior and senior year, he had to have shoulder surgery, which he did. And he was prescribed pain medication, such as Percocet, to take for the pain after the surgery, which he did, as prescribed by the doctor. And he had the surgery, and that was done. But unfortunately, the surgery was not successful. He would never throw a baseball or a football competitively ever again. And I'm sure like all of you people sitting here, we all have hopes and dreams. What do you want to do with your life? You're young people. You probably have ideas of what you want to do. He did too. He wanted to play baseball competitively in college, and who knows, maybe even one day make it to the pros. But when the surgery was unsuccessful, he would never throw a baseball, football competitively again, that kind of dashed all his hopes and dreams. And as you can imagine, it was not a happy time for him. But he realized, like all of you, you need to have a plan B if plan A doesn't work out. And his plan B was, he was going to graduate from high school, which he did. He was going to go on to college, and he was going to go to UMass Dartmouth, and he was going to be a nursing major. He wanted to have a job in the medical field. He went there, and on campus, when he was there, he started making some choices. And I'm sure all of your parents, your teachers, the staff in the building, they talk about, life, guys, is about making decisions and choices. A lot of those choices and decisions, aren't life-changing. What am I going to have for lunch today, a cheeseburger or pizza? But some of those choices you have to make are life-changing. And if you make the wrong decision or choice, it can affect your whole rest of your life and the lives of your family members. So when he was there as a freshman in college, living on campus at UMass Dartmouth, he started remembering that when he took those pills for surgery, they not only made the physical pain go away, it kind of made some of the emotional pain go away. And he made some bad choices. He's going out and seeking out on campus pills, and he would buy pills. And he started abusing prescription pain medication. 1 or 2 pills a day became 5, which became 10. A very expensive habit going on. A habit of trying to continue on with his life and go to class every day at college and work his part-time job while taking pills. And he wasn't taking pills, as they say, to get high. He was doing it to get by, to try to make him feel better, which is probably something he shouldn't have been doing. He probably should have been seeking some professional help, because that was not a good choice. But anyways, he took those pills and the journey began. He could eventually not keep up with his studies at school, and he dropped out of college. Eventually he came back home, lived with us, got a job. He was in his early 20s. And eventually, as is the case with a lot of people who abuse prescription pills, the pills progress to heroin. And he was a heroin addict for about 4 years. And it was a journey that I wouldn't wish upon anybody. And he would be in and out of rehab. We realized that he would have a problem. We would send him to rehab. He would be there. He would become drug-free. He would try to reset his life, get his life back on track again. And he would be okay for a few months, 3 to 6 months, and then he would relapse. Because drug addiction, guys, is a disease of relapse. Some of you sitting there right now might be saying, what is the big deal? Just don't put that pill in your mouth. Just don't put that needle in your arm. And your problems are going to be done. You'll beat this. It isn't quite that easy. If you are addicted to using your phone, if you're addicted to playing video games, and all of a sudden somebody said, right now, you can never do that again for the rest of your life, starting right now at this very moment. I don't know that you could stay away from it, or I could, or anybody could for that matter. And that's why we say that drug addiction is not a choice, it's a disease, and it's a disease of relapse. So this went on. He was in and out of rehab over the next 4.5 years, 12 times. He was now in his mid-20s. And finally, his mother and I decided that maybe we need to send him to a long-term facility, not just someplace for a week. And he went to a long-term facility down in Falmouth. And he was there, and he was getting proper treatment. And it was a long-term facility. He was there for over a month. And when he was done there, we decided that maybe he shouldn't come back to town where we live. Maybe he should stay down there in Falmouth and live in what is called a sober house. Sober house is when people, men, who are trying to all stay drug-free, live there together. They work, they have a job, they work during the day, and then at night they live there in the sober house and they go to meetings and they support each other. And he was there for almost 2 months, doing well, completely drug-free. Until the night of July 15th, 2013. It was about 10 o'clock at night. His mother and I get a phone call from one of the men who were living there in the sober house with him. The kid's name was Tom, saying, I'm sorry to tell you, but Cory has relapsed again. And we thought it's number 13, right? We drive down there. On the way down there, we get another phone call. It's Tom again. The hospital wants to know, what religion are you? Because they need to call a priest. The situation is dire. Not only did he just relapse, he overdosed. When you have an extended period of clean time, and he had an extended period of clean time of probably 3 months or more, and he relapsed, your body cannot take that jolt back again, and you overdose and you have a seizure, and for many of them, they pass away. So, we get down to the hospital, his mother and I, watching the doctors and the nurses working so hard on him as he's unconscious in the emergency room, with a tube down his throat that is basically keeping him alive and is breathing for him because he could not breathe on his own. And the doctor's saying, we're working so hard on him, we're trying to save his life, we do not think he's going to make a night. And they worked hard on him, but I don't know, I just had a feeling this was not his time. Call it the grace of God, whatever higher power you believe in. He lived that night. He lived the following night, and the night after that. He lived 5 nights. He was still unconscious in a coma. After 5 days and nights, the doctors say, we can't leave him on life support forever. We should probably remove the tube. What do you want to do? We made a decision to have the tube removed that was breathing for him. And, again, by the grace of God, or whatever higher power you believe in, he took his first breath again. He started breathing on his own. He was still unconscious, but he was breathing again on his own. So we went on for another 4 or 5 days. Eventually came out of the coma, and he had some brain damage. And he has some disabilities that he still has to live with today and for the rest of his life that affect him as well as his whole family, who has to help take care of him. This video that we made was made about 2 years ago. You're going to see that he has some disabilities, walking, talking. You can certainly understand him, but through another 2 years of therapy and rehab and everything, he's gotten better, and he even talks better than he talks in this video, which you'll get to meet him after the video. But this is a little, maybe 15-minute video of our journey and how drug addiction crept into our lives.
When you're addicted, you hurt the people that you love the most.
People don't realize that an addict is the kid next door.
It doesn't stop, it just keeps mushrooming, getting worse and worse, until it just spirals completely out of control.
My life sucks now.
It was July 15th, 2013, and my cell phone rang. My name's Tom. I live with Cory in the Silver House, and he said, I'm sorry to tell you that he relapsed.
And the neurologist came in there
Neurologist came in, yeah.
pretty much kind of said, well, we think now he might live, but he has extensive brain damage, and maybe his brain is only functioning at 20%.
Then they had to take him off the life support. And they weren't sure whether his brain was functioning enough that he would breathe on his own. So that was kind of scary within itself, not knowing whether once they turned that machine off, whether he would breathe on his own.
I remember when I woke up at the hospital and I had a tube down my throat and it hurt and I couldn't see anything except the white sheet.
He was always very athletic from day one. He loved baseballs and footballs and basketballs. He played Tauntonese Little League. He made Little League when he was 9, and he played 4 years in Little League, and he made the All-Stars all 4 years of Little League. He was a really good pitcher and shortstop, really good baseball player, very talented. He was the type of kid that any sport he played, he excelled at.
Go back to baseball is my fondest memory of first meeting him. We played in the same team, and 2 practices in, Cory left because he was so good he had to go play in the upper league because he was better than everybody else. It made me feel good that I wasn't good enough to go play with those kids, but Cory got to go play.
He played on the freshman team at Taunton High, And then when he was a sophomore, he tried out for varsity, and he made the varsity team. He also played freshman football, and as a freshman, he also played varsity. He was the kicker on the varsity team. He was a quarterback on the freshman and JV team and a kicker on the varsity team. Cory was an excellent student all through school. He was always on the honor roll from first grade through his senior year in high school. In his sophomore year at Taunton High, he was inducted into the National Honor Society, which was a proud moment for me as a mom. He was always a really good student. He was always a really good kid, never had any behavior issues with him, never had any detention, never had any problems at all with him. He was always really good, never gave me a hard time. His junior year going into senior year, he hurt his shoulder, and he had to have shoulder surgery on his right arm, which was devastating to him because it dashed all his dreams of moving forward and playing baseball in college or professionally. And that is kind of that's the underlying reason for where the addiction started.
When I had the surgery, I realized that I like the feeling of being on Percocets. So from there, it snowballed.
He went to UMass Diman as a nursing major, and unfortunately he couldn't play any sport in college due to his shoulder injury.
My dreams were to play baseball in college, and when that didn't happen, I felt depressed and anxious all the time. And I remembered that when I took the Percocets, how good they made me feel. So then I started to take Percocets every day in order to feel better.
I don't recall how old we were or what year it was or when it was exactly, but I just remember hearing hearing stories. I don't know if it was from your mom or just you third-party people or whoever it was from. That just you were into things and just lying and stuff like that, and again apparently like addicts do. I didn't really believe the stories. I'm like, I can't believe it would hold value because the way we were growing up. So it didn't really make sense. I mean, but even then, people change and we didn't hang out that much at that point. So I guess you had to take it with a grain of salt that possibly. And at this point, this whole epidemic just happened. Well, happened to you. This is like a new thing. This is when it was just starting to be an epidemic in the state and nationwide. I think is when it started to get covered for the abuse of prescription drugs, and to the point that people were doing harder drugs than you were doing.
He was going through a lot of emotional things, some depression, some anxiety, and my husband and I weren't really aware of that, only because he wasn't living at home.
I went from pills to heroin one day when I went to a friend's house, and he had heroin, and I tried it, and it was the best feeling I've ever felt.
We knew that he had a problem with prescription pills, with Percocet and Oxy, and we were trying to deal with that, but nothing prepared us for the moment that we found out he was using heroin. It was Christmas Eve, Dave pushed the door open, and he was in there with a needle.
Doing heroin was me chasing that original high the whole time. Some people call it chasing the magic dragon.
If he was using every day and he was out at, his grandfather's house or out socially or working a job, nobody would ever know. Because it comes to a point with heroin where they don't use to get high, they use to get by. Because if they don't use, they're going to get sick.
It's something that you could easily hide from someone that it was so minor at the time that you wouldn't even know he was lying to you, even though it might have been more severe than I would have even known at the time, because it was, like I said, it was something new to me. I hadn't been exposed to that kind of stuff before, so how could I ever look at him and assess telltale signs of what addicts do? Had I known how bad it was, and you know, and it was brought to my attention more facts and you know, a more background story of what he'd been up to, you know, I wouldn't have just, you know, kept my mouth shut about it. Because again, I feel like I'd be enabling and like basically just pushing him in the direction to do it. Like, you know, if you're going to turn a blind eye to it, like, you're just as guilty as he is. You might as well be doing it yourself. I mean, I wouldn't say, I guess you shouldn't say, you might as well be doing it yourself, but you might as well be giving him the drugs. If that's the case, you're just going to let him do it.
To buy the drugs, I would pawn stuff from the house. I even pawned all my mother's jewelry and my grandfather's wedding ring. I used heroin to maintain my daily life.
We tried to reason with him. We tried so many different addiction centers. We just tried everything, and nothing worked. And then it just gets to a point where you have to realize this is way bigger than we are, and we just needed some professional help. There's so many resources out there for parents, but we weren't aware of any of them. And you know, Dave and I would sit in our kitchen, like, where do we turn? What do we do? I'd never dealt with addiction before in my life. I was ashamed or embarrassed to ask anybody about it. And I don't know, I just felt like it's not out there enough. There's not resources. There's a ton of them, but how do you find out where they are and what's available to you?
You know, a lot of them, when you send them to a short-term thing, like 7 days, 10 days, whatever it is, they're not going to get in 7 or 10 days. And I think insurance companies kind of need to maybe rethink that, about how they deal with this issue.
He has balance issues. He does have a lot of falls. If he moves too quickly or he bends over, he will fall. So he can still walk around and maneuver around and do okay, but he can't see small print, he can't read, he can't use the computer, he can't use the cell phone. I have to help him in the morning when he gets stressed. He can't button or zip. I have to help him tie his shoes. He has problems holding utensils, brushing his teeth, those kind of normal everyday tasks.
He can't, you know, cut his food, or we even have special utensils that we bought.
Yeah, he's getting better with those.
He's getting better with those. But it is a difficult time for him just to feed himself.
We try to do a regular thing now, take him out once a month to dinner, just because we know he's screwed up in the house all day. So once a month is the least we can do. And he's definitely gotten a lot better with that, going out. But he's still, you know, he's got his disabilities now. Because I mean, now we go read a menu and you gotta sometimes read it to him and let him know what's what as far as ingredients. He's got special utensils to take out. I mean, so you know, he struggles with a fork and a knife, and he's got a cup he's got to drink out of with a top on it because he doesn't have good motor skills and might spill it over himself.
You know, there are resources out there that you can use, and addiction is something that shouldn't be kept in the closet, hidden. You know, the more you talk about it and you get it out there, the better it is in the end.
We learned through our support group, learned to cope. You didn't cause it.
You can't control it, and you can't cure it. I mean, I used to think the same thing. I'm a pretty smart person. I usually fix problems, and if something's broke, I'll fix it. I'm going to fix this problem. I'm going to take care of this myself, and we're going to make sure that we get him clean, and he'll be good. And we weren't able to do it.
But our family motto now is adversity to advocacy. And you know, I'm really proud of Cory. He's done a lot of advocating for this disease. He's gone up to the State House in Boston and he testified for Governor Baker's opioid bill. He met the governor. He's met with Maura Healey, the Attorney General. He met with the Lieutenant Governor Karen Polito. He's met with Congressman Joe Kennedy. He's doing everything that he can to try to get out there to talk to everyone, not just to school groups, but you know, he's talking to, you know, politicians, anyone out there, to try to make a difference. And I'm really, really proud of him that he's taken this event that has happened in his life and turned it around and made it a positive. So as a family, we're working really hard. We've started our own nonprofit called Cory's Cause. in our goal with Cory's Causes to someday open a walk-in center where people can go for resources and help. But right now, we're going to help other families, with resources and to fund some treatment for some families and to offer some scholarships to local high school kids that are on the right path to try to help them pay for some of their college tuition. But, we try not to sit here and look back. We can't look back, we can only look forward. This happened to us, this happened to our son, and, I can't sit here every day and say, what if this didn't happen? He had so much potential. I can't even go there, I can't look back. We just look forward.
Every day I want to help somebody else who might be going through the same things that I am.
As bad as it was, I'm lucky because I didn't hear the words, we're sorry, he's gone. He lived.
Talk to your family or your friends about it so that you can get the proper help.
Don't think that this could never happen to you, because it can happen to you. And if it does happen to you, don't be ashamed or embarrassed, and just hold your head up high and just get the help that you need for not only your child or whoever the addict is in your family, but for yourself. And there is help out there, and to please go and try to get it, and don't be ashamed or embarrassed.
You might think that doing drugs are going to make you cool, and all your friends might be asking you to do that and everything, and maybe you even try it once or twice, and nothing happens. And you might get away with it once, twice, 100 times. But in the end, something bad could certainly come of that. You should stay away from them to begin with, and, they can ruin your life.
Don't do any drugs because you can end up like me.
So on that night, July 15th, 2013, drugs let him live, but they left him with a permanent reminder of the power they hold over a person. And they gave him disabilities that he has to live with today, some of which you saw in that video. But he's here today and he wants to meet all of you and he wants to talk to you about it. Would you like to meet him? Yes! And let's come on out, Cory.
Sorry for that Frankenstein-like watch.
It's usually not that bad.
First off, I would like to apologize because the video's a little bit outdated, because at the end of the video, when he says that I have trouble feeding myself, I'm sure that you guys can tell by looking at me that I don't have that problem anymore. Woo. And then I can't wait to try your restaurant. Except that you guys better stock up. And the second thing that is wrong in the video is at the beginning I said that my life sucks now, except that it doesn't, because of going out and speaking to groups like you guys. So please give yourselves a round of applause. So who in here likes to use their cell phone? And go on Snapchat and Instagram and Facebook and whatever else these kids are using these days. I'm surprised that I didn't say MySpace. Who in here can't wait to get their license or already has their license? Once again, everybody's hand should be up. Just because those are just some of the things that I can never use again. So please listen to what we have to say. Also, who in here would like to live with their parents until they're 28 years old?
Gee, no hands are up, huh?
Because I'm stuck with these two for the rest of my life.
Wait a minute.
I'm just kidding, I love you guys.
That's because he's saying that because he wants a good Christmas present.
Except that I've already gotten my Christmas present. And another thing that I would like to say is don't feel bad for me because I did do this to myself, and if this didn't happen to me, then I don't think that I would be here today to be able to talk to you guys, because I think that I probably would be dead. So please don't feel bad for me. And I don't know how much you guys know about drugs and drug abuse, except that most people always say that the three places that you can end up is jails, institutions, or death. Except that I'm the exception to that rule, because I'm also alive, except that I'm living with disabilities for the rest of my life. So take that into consideration if the opportunity ever comes to you guys to use drugs. Thank you.
It's important to see Cory and see that this is real, that this does happen, because I think, when you're young, you think you're invincible and nothing bad is going to happen to me. And I think Cory thought the same way too. I mean, when he was in high school, he said he would never touch a drug, and he meant that. But unfortunately, this addiction, crept into his world, and it was obviously not intended. But anyone that becomes addicted, whether it's through prescription drugs or they recreationally use drugs, did not intend to become an addict. No one wakes up in the morning and says, I want to be an addict. When I grow up, I want to be an addict. When I graduate from high school, I want to be an addict. I mean, that's something that people don't want to happen. It is a disease, and it's a terrible epidemic that's out there right now. And Cory can tell you that this has completely changed his life. When he was growing up, I would always tell him that life is about decisions, and that one bad decision can affect the rest of your life. And this addiction has affected the rest of not only his life, but our lives also. Our lives are different than they would have been. He probably would be living outside the house now, working in a job, and now he lives with us, and we have to care for him every day. So it's completely different. But we're trying to take that and turn it around by going out and speaking at schools, and we just hope that, we could impact one life in this room. Do you want to tell them, Cory, maybe how your life is different now, or what you do on a daily basis?
Yes. My life is full of doctor's appointments and OT, which is occupational therapy, physical therapy, and speech therapy. Also, this might sound awesome to you guys, but I'm telling you right now that it isn't, because I get to sleep about 12 to 14 hours every day because of my brain injury, except that I wish that I could actually sleep like a normal human being again.
I want to go back a little bit to when Cory was at Taunton High School. There was a pro scout from the Seattle Mariners who came to Taunton and was looking at him. So he did have some potential. He had some scholarship offers from colleges and, a pro scout looking at him, and then this injury happened. So when he went off to college, everybody pretty much just dropped him like a hot potato. The scout was gone, the scholarship offers were gone, and he kind of realized that he didn't really know how to live his life without sports in it. His whole life, he played every sport. We were always busy. We were always running around from one field to the next. And it's just important, I think, that we've learned after that don't let one thing that you do in your life define you, because that's kind of what happened with him, is he did not know how to live without being in some type of competition and being on a competitive team. And it was very difficult for him. So when he was on campus, like Dave talked about earlier, he was feeling anxious, depressed, upset. He wasn't playing a sport. He was kind of bored. And so what he did was he went, instead of getting professional help, maybe going to speak to someone professionally and maybe getting on the correct meds for anxiety, he thought he could take care of it himself, and remembered that when he took Percocet, how good they really made him feel, not only physically but emotionally. And he made, a poor choice. Bad things happen to good people, and unfortunately in life, sometimes we don't handle things properly. But I just want to tell you all that a drink or any kind of drug or pill is not going to solve your problem. It is not the solution. That drug or that drink will become one of the biggest problems you ever will have in your life. So, if there comes a point in your life when you're faced with a choice that maybe you could try some type of drug, please maybe think about Cory and what it's done to him. It's not always about partying and having a good time. Like in Cory's case, he became addicted through surgery and through, his pain meds. I also met a mom who her son was his class president, class valedictorian, and he was having a problem sleeping. So his dad had surgery, and he went into the medicine cabinet, and there was a bottle of Vicodin. His dad didn't take the pills, he just filled the script and put it in the medicine cabinet. And he went in and he took a Vicodin, maybe this will help me sleep. Well, it did. He slept like a baby, felt great. So he took one a night for the next 120 nights. And his mom found him dead in his bedroom 6 months later with a needle in his arm. He had died of a heroin overdose. So this is real. This stuff is happening to people. He didn't intend to become addicted. He was just innocently taking these pills, hoping that maybe they would help him sleep. So it's really important to, think about that. Never go in a medicine cabinet, never take a pill out of a medicine cabinet, never take a pill that's not prescribed to you, because you may not know exactly what you're taking. Sometimes, we're battling this ourselves, or someone we know is having a problem with addiction, and there is a lot of help out there. You can go to our website, coryscause.com, and there's a whole resource page. There's tons of links that you can click on and read about different, organizations and treatment centers, just to obtain information if you or someone you know is having a problem with drugs. The other thing is, Cory's friend Keegan talks about it in the video that, if he knew and he didn't say something, he would have felt really bad. And I know sometimes we struggle with that. Well, I don't want to be a tattletale. I don't want to be the snitch. They're going to get mad at me. But you need to think of it in a different way. You have to think about it as that you're saving their life. That 4 to 5 people a day in this state of Massachusetts die of a drug overdose. So instead of thinking, well, they're going to be mad at me, everybody's going to say I have a big mouth, you need to think about it that I'm maybe doing the right thing for my friend. Just speak to a trustworthy adult if you need to reach out to someone, family members. There's staff in this building, teachers, guidance counselors that can help you, point you in the right direction if anyone knows that of someone that needs help. Drug overdoses are the #1 killer of teenagers in this country now. It has surpassed auto accidents. So it's a big problem, it's a big epidemic in this state. And we're just here trying to share our story so you can realize that this is real. It does happen to real people. Cory is here, you can see what it's done to him, and hopefully we can impact one life out there. The statistics show that 1 out of every 4 who start using drugs as a teenager will become an addict. That's a pretty big figure. So, you need to really pay attention to this. The other statistic that I want to share with you is the U.S. is 5% of the world population, and yet we consume 80% of the opiates, the pain medications in this world. So what that means is 20% is consumed by the rest of every country, and we consume 80%. That is a lot. Kind of shows you that we're kind of babies and we don't deal with pain very well like other nations do. So when you visit a doctor, please ask questions. Ask, is this drug addicting? Is there any other ways that I could manage my pain? Don't be afraid to ask those questions, because we were. I just figured the doctor prescribed it to him and that he should have it, and I didn't really ask those vital and important questions. And you have a right to ask any question that you want, so please do that. Please reach out to the doctors and ask them those questions. As you saw in the video, we started our nonprofit called Cory's Cause. If you want to go to Facebook and like our page, Cory's Cause, or you can also visit our website, coryscause.com, and learn a little bit more about our story, or follow our story. And Cory is C-O-R-Y, not C-O-R-E-Y. So for those of you that want to look it up. And maybe Cory can just tell you a little bit about what we've been doing publicly and who he met.
Last October, the October before this last one, I was in Washington, D.C. at this Red Up rally, and we were out in front of the White House, and these 2 women came up to me, of course. Woo! Woo, woo. And they asked me about the sign that I was holding, because I had a sign that said heroin disables. And then they asked my mother for her phone number. Little did we know that they were friends with Steven Tyler. Who in here knows who Steven Tyler is? If not, he was that lead singer in Aerosmith, and also he was that judge on American Idol, the guy with the huge lips. Well, little did we know that the next day that we would get backstage passes, and that now tell your parents this when you guys go home, because tell them to be jealous because you met somebody who got Steven Tyler on his lap giving him a big back kiss.
He was in his wheelchair and Steven Tyler climbed right up on his lap. I was hugging him and gave him a big kiss, but it was pretty cool. We got to go backstage and meet him, and we got VIP seating, and it was really kind of cool. And actually, he wanted Cory to go up on stage with him when he was performing, but the tour promoter would not let him go up because there wasn't any handicap access. But I mean,
we also got to meet Pal Falribi and Chris Herron that day.
everybody here in Boston pretty much know who Chris Herron is, right? Played for the Boston Celtics. He's from Fall River. Yeah, we Cory got to meet him that day. It was pretty cool. But we're out there. We're doing a lot of things. If you go online, Cory was on an episode of HBO's Real Sports with Brian Gumbo. The episode was called Hooked, right? I always get that wrong. And so you could look for it if you wanted to watch it. But we're not doing these things because we want to be on TV or we want to be in the newspaper. We're doing it to share our story in the hopes that one other family does not have to go through what we've gone through, and we're just
Or
trying
that
to...
none of you go through what I went through.
So, please remember what we said, and, hopefully we can make a difference in one life in this room. Okay, now we can probably open it up to questions. Before that, I want to thank you all for being. You've been a wonderful, wonderful audience, and I'm going to wish everyone a happy New Year.
Right. Does anyone ask a question? Anybody? Questions? The other group had questions last December. Come on.
The other group had a ton of them. Oh, you got a hand up over here.
Okay. Here you go.
Was prescription pain medicine the first drug you used?
Yes.
Okay.
Before that, when he was younger, he would never take a Tylenol. He had a cold, and I wanted to give him a cold pill. He would never take any kind of pill. That's why, too, kind of when this happened, I never really even gave it a thought that he may become addicted to them, only because he never liked to take any kind of pill of any sort. But unfortunately, when you have an opiate, it changes your brain chemistry. Your brain, some people take it and they hate it. Some people take it and it helps them and they're done with it. And some people take it and their brain loves it. And unfortunately, Cory was one of the people that their brain loves it. He told me afterwards that the very first pill I gave him, he loved how it made him feel. It was kind of like he lit up like a Christmas tree, the way it made him feel. So that was probably the sign right there that he shouldn't have been taking those, because his body and his brain loved how it made him feel.
And when it did progress to heroin, of course, is an extremely dangerous drug. And somebody last hour in the assembly asked, how long did it take for him after he overdosed and started going back on the road to recovery? Obviously, he's been drug-free now for 3.5 years. Harold, you can clap for him if you want. But someone who's been using heroin on a regular basis, it alters the chemical balance of your brain and changes the whole brain makeup and everything, and it takes about 1.5 years of being heroin-free before your brain actually returns back to normal. And that is a fact.
But it is definitely a battle that he'll have to face the rest of his life. There could be days, 10 years down the road, where he has a craving. Sometimes those cravings never go away. It's like people have a problem with alcohol. They can't just ever have one drink. He just can't ever have one pill, because it could put him back where he was before.
Who else has a question? How about over here?
Do you remember how you injured your shoulder exactly?
Yes, I remember exactly when it was. I was pitching a game against New Bedford High School, and I had a perfect game through 5 innings. And then I walked 3 people in a row And then I knew that there was something wrong with my arm right then and there.
Another question from somebody?
Cory actually said pulling in today that he played a game on the baseball field here. I guess they had a scrimmage game, Taunton High did, against your baseball team. He said he beat your butt.
I understand that you said that you could have made it into the Seattle Mariners. If you could have made it into the majors, what baseball team would you play for?
The Red Sox, duh.
How about another question? Right here. Right over here.
Now that you've been through recovery, how does it feel for you?
It feels awesome to wake up every day and not think about like the next time that I'm going to get high. Instead, like I wake up every day and I'm just thankful for the opportunity to come out and speak to groups like you guys.
How about somebody back here?
So, after your physical therapy, how much can you do by yourself? Like, what do your parents still need to do for you in your daily life?
You wanted me to answer it. I have to help him get dressed. He needs help in the shower. He has motor skill problems where his hands are kind of crunched up like this. So he can't even hold a pen. He can't even write his name anymore. So he can't really hold like a bar soap or a face cloth. So either him or his stepdad, Dave, we have to give him a shower. We have to get him dressed. We have to cut his food for him. He has, you might have seen it in the video, you can't see it because he has long pants on. He has 2 braces on both of his legs. His, your feet are flat on the ground like this. When he walks, his brain and his feet don't always connect, so he wants to walk on the side of his feet, which you can imagine how painful that must be. Like he looks like he's going to break his ankle, so these braces straighten out. But when he takes them off to go to bed or to go in the shower, he's really a fall risk. So he needs help getting in and out of bed, pretty much with everything. He knows how to work the remote control of the TV really well, though.
That is for sure.
Yes. Who else has another question?
So he went from somebody who could throw a baseball and pinpoint a perfect spot in the mitt to not even be able to hold on to a baseball anymore.
What made you want to create this cause and go around trying to help people who are going through what you did?
Because when I first woke up in the hospital, I kept saying to my mother, why did God let me live? Because I'm going to be useless and a burden to everybody. Except that after a bunch of physical and speech therapy and stuff, and then after the first time that we spoke, I said to my mother, now I know why I lived.
Somebody over here, questions?
What's your favorite band? Or music?
Lil Wayne.
Tell them what band you also got to see when you met Steven Tyler.
The Fray. As you guys can tell, I listen to a wide variety of music.
Any more questions, anybody?
Dave.
How about over here?
How long was it until you relapsed?
The last time?
Yeah, when we sent you to Gosnold and that, and the sober house put together,
75 days.
it was 75 days, which is almost 3 months.
How fast did you throw when you were in high school?
About 90.
He really was a good pitcher. I mean, we're not exaggerating about that. He really did have a lot of potential.
When you started to use heroin, was it hard for you to hide your track marks on your arms?
No, because I used to wear long sleeves all the time, even in the summer.
Maybe 1 or 2 more. How about in front?
When you started to progress in the amount of pills that you used to take and spend money on them, was addiction like ever a thought in your mind, or did you think that this was okay?
Well, I never thought that it was okay. I just knew that, like, what I was doing was wrong, except that the drug took over, and, like, I couldn't stop after a while. So then that is when I realized that it was a big problem.
Remember, a lot of people start saying, you know, hey, I can control the drug, but after a while, the drug controls you. And that's when you really realize that you have a serious problem. You are addicted. How about over here?
When you found you could no longer play sports, what made you feel that you should go into the medical field?
I was going into the medical field before my injury because UMass Dartmouth is one of the best nursing programs in the country, and to get into it I had to apply to it my junior year. So to answer your question in short, I was already going into the nursing field before my injury. And the real reason behind me wanting to go into the nursing field is because my Aunt Donna, who passed away of breast cancer, was a nurse.
Were you scared the first time you did heroin by yourself? What was the question? Were you scared the first time you did heroin by yourself?
No, not really, because at that point, I didn't care whether I lived or I died, because you get sick of waking up every day and just thinking about doing the drug and stuff. So it comes to a point where you don't care if you live or you die.
And that is so true, guys. It's not like he was partying, he was having a good time and everything else. The drug takes over your life and you get to it. Addicts many times get to a point where they're not trying to kill themselves, no, but they don't really care if they live or die. They just
because
live a horrible existence.
I had overdosed a couple other times before, and like right after I had overdosed, I would just call somebody and go and try and get high again. That is how powerful this is.
Remember, guys, like, I don't know if I mentioned this before, drugs, when you're addicted to drugs, it takes everything from you. It certainly takes your money. It takes all of your friends. He had a girlfriend. The girlfriend didn't want to stay with him. Who would want to stay with someone who was using like that? He lost his friends, he lost his girlfriend, he lost all his money. He was by himself. Drugs take everything from you. Maybe 1 or 2 more questions, and then I think we probably have to wrap it up. How about you?
Is there a specific name for the disability that Cory has?
I suffered what is called an anoxic brain injury, which means that my brain went without oxygen for a few minutes.
I was wondering if you got addicted to heroin by yourself, or did one of your friends or classmates get you addicted?
Well, I got myself addicted to the Percocets, and then one day when I went to a friend's house, if I could even call that, he had it, and then I tried it for the first time.
Once you try it, there's pretty much no going back.
Cory's, all of his high school friends, none of them used drugs. So it wasn't like he really had a circle of friends that he used with. He pretty much used by himself. You know, all his high school friends, they were off at different colleges and, you know, doing their own thing. But then once they realized he was using heroin, they didn't really want any part of him. He lost a lot of friends, but when this happened and he was on life support, so many of them came to, he was first in Falmouth and then he was moved to Mass General in Boston, in Spalding in Boston, and his friends all came back and were there to support him, and you know, they're there for him now. I mean, a lot of his friends now are state police officers, firemen, you know, they have all different kinds of jobs, but none of his core group of friends use drugs. So that's kind of a good thing now, because all of his friends that come and spend time with him now have never used any drugs. So it's not really a concern of ours that somebody's going to try to give him a pill or whatever.
All right, guys, I think we need to wrap it up. We want to thank you very, very much for being a fantastic audience. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your attention today. I want to just make you aware of a few things before we go. Ladies and gentlemen, down in the guidance office, down in PPS, there'll be a few resources for anybody who is interested. The first you'll see, Ms. Cabrera left. It's a save the date for the annual Teen Safety Summit that's coming up. We also have information on anyone who has a friend, a family member, or someone you know or love that maybe is struggling with opiate addiction. And then also information on Cory's cause, and these will be made available down at PPS. Anybody who would like to be able to come down when you're dismissed and say something personally to Cory, Cory has asked that that's an option, and you're certainly more than welcome to do that as well.